It is a day like this that makes you want to go inside, make a hot chocolate, and snuggle up under a fuzzy blanket. Let me show you where we are. So we are on the shore in Sweden, which is the home country of this. This is the Volvo XC90, and we're having typically Swedish weather for November. It's cold, and this is a snuggle down kind of car. It's designed to be cozy, be comfortable, be confident, whether you're in good weather or bad. Let's take a look at the 2025 Volvo XC90. Be sure to follow along on our social channels, subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you see a video pop up here, click it. We put it here because we think you're gonna like it. For 2025, the changes to the Volvo XC90 are cosmetic and they're quality of life. So some really beautiful details and changes here on the exterior, some new details and changes on the interior, and there's a new user experience that I'm going to show you what that's all about. There's some really beautiful new materials and a lot of things that Volvo has learned from developing its electric line of cars, including the EX90 and the EX30 that you'll see offered on the XC90. C means gas, EX means electric, 90 means large. It's still everything we know and love from Volvo. 3 rows of seating for 6 or 7 passengers, beautiful interiors that are more like being in an elegantly furnished salon as opposed to a car cabin, and a really great user experience on the multimedia system. One thing that hasn't changed at all for 2025 are the engine options. There are 3. There is a plug-in electric hybrid that generates about 455 horsepower and has 33 miles of all-electric driving. And then there are 2 mild hybrids, and those use a battery and electric power system to really give you better fuel economy and also lots of power. The B5 generates about 247 horsepower and gets about 26 mpg, and the B6 generates about 295 horsepower and gets about 23 mpg. The 2025 Volvo XC90 has a starting price of about $58,000. All in, plug-in electric hybrid, it tops out at about $80,000. We're driving the B5 model, which is the mild hybrid with a slightly lower power rating of 247 horsepower. Great for the roads that we're driving on if you're going to fill all of those 6 or 7 seats, or if you really want electric driving, you might want to ratchet up your budget a little bit and go for the B6 with 295 horsepower or the plug-in electric hybrid, which starts at $73,000. So how does it feel to drive the Volvo XC90? Well, pretty good. And that's the magic of driving a crossover SUV. So you have the ground clearance of an SUV and the interior space, but you have the drive feel of a car, and that's why they call it a crossover. So it's easy to navigate, it's easy to maneuver on narrow roads, it's easy in traffic, it's easy to park, which I do appreciate. You do have that flexible interior space, so you can put the 3rd row up if you need seats, you can put it down if you need space for cargo, and then it has very comfortable seating for 4. This Volvo has that nice little booster seat in the middle of the rear bench, which is a nice feature. And it is just easy to drive. It's really easy to manage around town or on the highway, wherever you're going. You don't feel like you have to work too hard to drive this car. And that's something that I do really appreciate in the Volvo XC90. Changes to the 2025 Volvo XC90 start right here on the front grille. I want you to notice that sort of cross-hatched lattice effect there on the front, anchored by the Volvo badge. Gone is the cross chrome bar that we've had on the grille in the past, and now we have that lattice work on the front. It looks really elegant and it's much more modern. There's still a lower air intake there. It's framed by chrome, and I apologize in advance for the water and the mess on this car. We are here on the North Sea, and it is really cold and feeling very Nordic today. The headlights remain Volvo's signature Thor's hammer headlights. I've got the bright lights on there so you can see them. The headlights are really distinct and beautiful. We have these large new wheels, new wheel design that's quite elegant, and there's some really nice chrome trim that sets off the denim color of our test model. On the rear, the taillights remain the standard look for Volvo. They frame the lift gate there on either side, and then you'll see the Volvo name spelled out across the back. very iconic. The Volvo T8 badge denotes that this is a plug-in hybrid with all-wheel drive. T8 actually means twin engine or twin motor, meaning there's a gas engine and an electric motor. The gas engine is an inline 4-cylinder, and then the electric motor is battery powered electric. And what that means is you're able to get hybrid performance, 33 miles of all electric driving. It's silent at startup, and you can charge the battery while you're driving. This is such a beautiful luxury car. And one of the things that defines this is it's very minimalist on the rear end. So it's a plug-in electric hybrid. We don't see tailpipes there. That's part of the point of this car. And you'll also notice there is a double power door. So there's one side here, and then on the other side, one side is for gas, the other side is for charging, for plugging in. And really elegant colored, really elegant details on the side panels. So these body colored door handles, body colored side mirrors. I like this sort of champagne color that they chose for this particular model, and it for our test model. And then here is our power door. So that was the gas door on the passenger side, and the power door here for charging is right there. And this is where you're going to plug in to charge for overnight charging, or you can go to a level 2 public charge station. It will take you about 2.5 or 3 hours at a public charge station to fully replenish that charge. You can actually replenish that charge overnight at home as well. It'll take about 12 or 13 hours to fully charge that those 33 miles of range. Now I'm going to try to figure out how to open the car without sullying my hands. So we have the third row down here, and I just want to show you how much space is under here and some of the things that Volvo has done. So one thing that you can do is this load floor that actually opens, it is braces, it kind of pops open and holds there. So you have space to put things and divide your cargo area, so you don't have, say, larger bags rolling over smaller things. You put your milk over there and your bread over here, and nothing gets damaged. And then there's also a compartment under here. So you actually even have a tiny little bit more storage space. And actually they very smartly left a brush so you can brush the snow off if you need to put an ice scraper or something down there. And even a little emergency kit in there. So really smart storage, just taking advantage of every little crevice, every little pocket of space where they can add more room to stow things in the Volvo XC90. So what does the cargo space look like with the third row up? Well, let's take a look. So we took out the cargo cover here. It does fit nicely in this space. And then we have a decent amount of space. Now, I really don't want to climb in here because the bumper is dirty, but I'm going to anyway. And I will share that I can sit here and tailgate. If I've got other stuff here, I can't. There's a nice cover overhead. There's a work light in here. And the frame of the liftgate is further back. It's sloped back. It's got a little bit of a sloped roof and a angled tailgate area. So I am not hitting my head on this frame. I can sit all the way back against these seats. I'm not hitting my head, and I'm 5'8". So I do appreciate that. This is a small area, so it's probably good for a stroller and a couple of tote bags or diaper bags, something like that. You can fit 2 rollerboards, maybe 3 in here if you stand them upright. We did that yesterday. We had 2 rollerboards and 2 tote bags back here, a tote and a backpack. So we had enough luggage space for 2 people. If you're on a road trip with 5 or 6 passengers, you're probably going to need a roof rack. You're not going to have enough room in the cargo space of the Volvo XC90. What will you have? You have enough room for daily errands, and if you need a little more space and you can put one of these seats down, well, that gives you a lot of extra cargo space. And now you're going to have to excuse me because I'm going inside this building and I'm getting a hot coffee or maybe a hot chocolate and getting myself out of this cold weather and into this beautiful car. I'm going to turn on the heated seats and the massaging seats and take it for a test drive. A nice warm test drive because it's cold. So we're on day 2 of our test drive in the Volvo XC90, and I'm still really appreciating how comfy and cozy this car is. It's still cloudy. It's not rainy and drizzly like it was yesterday, so I'm appreciative of a somewhat clearer day, but it's still pretty cold, and the interior is really cozy. But I also love that the interior is really bright. And what this is going to feel like in a place where I live, like Texas, is these lighter colored materials don't absorb the heat. So they're really beautiful in the wintertime as they give you more light. But in the summertime, they don't absorb all that heat. So when you get into a car like this on a 100-degree day, this interior is not going to burn your bum. That is such a valuable thing. Now, I want to talk about the materials that Volvo uses in creating these seats. So it looks like the most beautiful leather. It's actually not. It is leatherette, and they call it Nordico because this is a Nordic country, and it actually is made from recyclable and renewable materials. So there's plant materials. It's a blend of recycled plastics and recycled materials, but also pine resin and some other renewable plant materials that they use to create this leather-like material. And you can get Napa leather. That is definitely a thing that Volvo offers. They always have, and I think they always will, because some people really want leather. But those who want more of a performance fabric, something that's not going to absorb odor, that's going to be easier to clean, maybe if you have a dog, you have a sweaty teenager, or just, like to eat a lot of fast food in the car, a surface like this is not going to absorb those fragrances the way, say, a woven material will, or even a leather. And that's a nice thing. The other nice thing is that it weighs less and it costs less. So this is a standard fabric, a standard feature for some of the trims in the Volvo. You get the leatherette or the Nordico standard, and then you can upgrade to leather if you would like. It's lightweight, so it's actually preferable for an electric car, whether it's a full EV like the EX90, or if it's a hybrid, plug-in hybrid like the XC90 T8, which is the plug-in. A material like this, if you think about the total weight of it, it might actually be several hundred pounds when you think about the weight on the chairs and on the dash panel and on the door panels and the armrests and the anywhere else that they include this material. It might actually weigh up to several hundred pounds, and that's several hundred pounds that you can reduce maybe by 50% or 25% or something like that. And every little bit counts towards efficiency of using less gas and getting more charge out of your battery. But we need to talk about cardamom. Cardamom is a spice that you find in baking. In fact, Martha Stewart says it is the secret ingredient to many of her recipes. It's also the secret ingredient here in the Volvo XC90 interior. Cardamom is the color that Volvo's designers chose for this Nordico upholstery. And notice how it has this really beautiful quilted material here with sort of a tonal, lighter colored stitching here. Volvo calls it cardamom. I might call it pale beige or birch or baked apple. It's really, really beautiful. And this light interior, not only does it add light to the cabin, but it also adds just a more elegant, refined feel. I love this, the attention to the stitching here, and then this quilted material here. On some models, you'll have a massage seat. We don't have that in our model, but we do have seat controls here that allow us to move the thigh extender and then change the seat position, all in the name of becoming more comfortable in the interior of the Volvo XC90. So what else do we see in the interior of the Volvo XC90? Well, Volvo has taken a lot of lessons from the design of the EX90, which is the all-electric three-row SUV, and the EX30, which is the compact SUV that Volvo introduced last year. And what they did with the EX30 and the EX90 is combine novel design, more efficient use of space, and renewable and beautiful materials. So we see a lot of that in the XC90. And it starts with this wide dash here. We have leatherette here, we have woven fabric here, and then we have open pore wood here. There's chrome finish that surrounds the dash, and then there's really beautiful soft touch materials that are a darker color on the lower portion to sort of draw your eye up towards these lighter colors and the darker colors. Just, you don't really need to focus a lot of attention down here. Anything that you do need to see is surrounded in chrome to capture your attention, so it draws your eye to it. But there's really not a lot. But there is this one thing that I want to show you, and that is this crystal gear selector. So on the center console, there's the multimedia screen here. And I'm going to say, when we first saw Volvo's multimedia screens, when they redesigned the XC90, probably about 8 years ago, this was so novel. The only other car that had a screen this large was Tesla. Now everybody has them, and actually Volvo seems a little medium-sized. It doesn't seem quite so large, but it does give you a lot of great function and visibility. Below the screen, there is this quick panel for climate control. There is a nicely sized wireless phone charger. Cup holders here. It's actually adjustable. There's a nice little spot for your key. The drive gear selector, the stop start. There is a auto hold and brake, And then there's a small, diminutive little console here underneath the armrest. Then there is the Volvo steering wheel, leather wrapped and really beautiful feeling steering wheel. It feels really good in your hands. The Volvo air vents are what we have come to expect. So they're vertical, they're linear, and they have these louvered vents that allow you to change the direction of the air. They're a little smaller on either side and larger and taller in the center, and it is very classic modern Volvo design. There is a whole new multimedia system or whole touchscreen system here. So it does this. Hey Google, navigate to the nearest Starbucks.
Navigating to Starbucks.
So it gives us really great functionality. The system can do things like change the cabin temperature, it can change the radio station, it can, hey Google, turn on the driver's side heated seat.
Okay, turning on the seat heater for the driver.
The system can even do great things like that otherwise you might have to take your hands off the wheel and your eyes off the road and turn on the seat heater. You don't have to do that. Just ask for what you want and it'll be right there. On the screen, you'll see there's the main screen here, which is our map. We are in Sweden right there, which is, here's Denmark and here's Sweden. This is where we are, which of course is the home of Volvo. And the map is what is occupying the screen here. I can also change things. So here's my music, here's my phone if I want to connect that. But then we have two static toolbars. So there's a toolbar here that gives us, when we're parked, we can play with the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. And we can listen to different things on here. And then this is on our Spotify. But the Bowers & Wilkins also has this really cool demo that shows you what the sound is like. So this system gives you a good idea of where the speakers are and what the sound should sound like. You can use that to balance the sound of other things as you're customizing your sound experience in your car. Other things you'll find on these fixed toolbars, there is our camera. We're in a studio right now, so that's what you see. And our drive modes are right here. So this is where you can pick your drive modes: power, pure, off-road, all-wheel drive. You can change your battery usage. If you want to hold your battery or even use the gas engine to charge the battery, you can do that. You can turn on or off creep mode, which allows the car to creep forward as you're lifting your foot off the brake. And steering feel, you can have your steering set to soft or firm. Suspension, if you want an air suspension, lift, or, I can feel that. So it actually will lift the car. I can feel it. It's really kind of weird. It will lift the car or lower it for easy entry and exit, getting in and out of the car. And then there's a fixed bar right here. So this is our climate control, and I can tap this and I can set climate control to however I want it. I can turn it on auto, I can turn it off, I can set different settings here, the air direction, and then I can also set climate control for the rear or the front. So that's there, and then if I just tap this, it's set to Celsius, but I could set it to Fahrenheit, and this is where I'm going to get my seat heaters and my temperature adjustment. Down here is my app suite, so this is where you can scroll through different apps that are available on the system, and then over here are the quick controls and vehicle settings for the car. So here are some of the basic controls here. This is where I can set jack mode. If you're going to lift the car, you want to set disables auto leveling. That's pretty interesting. Lights and displays, color intensity for interior. Let's see, locking, mirrors and wipers. So a lot of the vehicle controls are there. Here's our driver assist and safety features. So our driving dynamics and safety assistance is there. Our sound connectivity. So this is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Our Google profile. If you'd like to set up a driver profile, you can do that here. So this would be yours. You could set up a guest. You can add a new driver here. And then you can set up your profile there, which is really nice. And that'll give you the opportunity to set up things however you would like it in the car. Below the touchscreen, there is a panel here with sound and quick access to climate, so defroster essentially. And then this little guy, this is our glove box. So some cars are now putting this control on the screen, but Volvo makes it a hard button right there. The nice thing about this, having this button here, is you're able to have a nice smooth surface here without a handle or a latch there. So it really adds to the visual continuity of the dash. On the steering wheel, again, what we've come to expect and love is this really beautiful simplified Volvo steering wheel. You'll see the gloss black details here. We have our driver assist features over here and our entertainment features over here. And over on this side of the steering wheel, we have voice assistance. We don't really need that. There are functions here for entertainment, so I can change the radio station or the volume, and then I can use this little button here to customize my driver display. So if I have, if I would like, I can have my maps. I can tap this little button to see my trip information, and then I can use the arrows to toggle if I want to reset it or close it if I don't want to see that. And then if I don't want to see that map, I can just tap this and I get a driver display, and I believe I will have my speed. No, my speed's over there. So here's what's important to know in using your 33 miles of all electric range. You'll see your range down here. It shows in kilometers because we are in Europe. And under drive modes, this is where you'll be able to switch from hybrid to pure, which is sport, off-road, and turn on or off all-wheel drive. If you would like to charge the battery while you're driving, just tap charge, or you can tap hold, and this will hold the charge where it is. So this is not going to use any of the electric power. It's only going to operate on the gas engine. So we're going to take the Volvo XC90 out for a little spin. I will say it is, the sky is clearing and it's really becoming quite a beautiful day over here. So that is making me a little sad that we don't have the opportunity to stay here longer, because it really is quite beautiful. But we are going to take a little spin around the coast of Switzerland. That's the bridge we're going to cross later today. But let's take a look at what it's like to drive the Volvo XC90. So one of the things that is really great is we have navigation in the head-up display. There's a really beautiful head-up display here, and I'm able to see not only the direction I'm going, but turn-by-turn directions and the speed limit sign. So a speed limit sign shows me the speed limit of the road that I'm on, and I found that very helpful in Europe because I don't always know what to expect on certain roads, and I don't have a natural feel for the speed limits in this part of the world. So having that speed limit notification right there is pretty spectacular. So what is the rear seat experience like in the Volvo XC90? Well, something that we've actually come to value quite a lot and appreciate, and that is it's beautiful, it's spacious, and it's comfortable. In the rear seat, now we are in the T8, this is the top of the line. We have these, which I really love. Window shades, not something that you really need out here on a cloudy day like this, but when the light is really bright, or when your dog wants wind in his face and you roll down the window and put that shade up, he has all the wind, but he can't stick his nose out the window. Something I really appreciate for my dog's safety. So I love these window shades. In addition to these screens, rear seat passengers also have air vents here in the pillar. There are air vents here on the center console. There is a really nice screen here that has the climate control, and then there are two USB ports right here. In the Volvo XC90, we have to talk about this center seat. We are in the bench edition. If you get the captain's chairs, clearly you're not going to have this center seat. This center seat might actually change your opinion about a bench. There's a lot to talk about here. So the first thing is you'll notice that there's a gear tunnel here and it's got a plastic cover on it. This is not going to be a comfortable place for an adult to put their feet. So you might on first glance think that this seat is something that is just a waste of space. But it is super functional, and let me show you what makes it that way. So first of all, there is a fold down armrest here, and this is where our cup holders are. So we can put those in there, or we can tuck it away. This is also a great seat for that extra guest who needs a booster seat, for whom you don't have a booster seat. Now this is an option, you do have to pay more for it, but you can just pop this booster into place and you have a booster seat for a kid who is not ready to sit without a booster seat, and they can ride very safely. This is great for that last minute play date after school, that extra passenger, the neighbor who's going to the movies with you. I probably wouldn't use this for my full-time booster seat, but it is really nice to have when you need it. And then this seat does this. If I put this back, and it does snap into place, I can also put this seat down independently. Notice that the seat belt is actually built into the seat and it's not in the ceiling, and that makes this seat pretty flexible. So if I want to create a tunnel here, like a gear tunnel for say skis or a rug that I pick up at HomeGoods, I don't have to move child passenger car seats out of either side. I can just put this seat down and I have space for everything, this contiguous space through the cargo area for whatever it is that we need. You also get seating for 3 in the center. Captain's chairs are an option, so that's something that you can get in any of the Plus editions of the Volvo XC90. The first thing that I want to note though is that we have 2 full sets of child passenger car seat latches. There's a set here and there's a set here in the center row. These seats are on rails, so they can move forward and back. That's as far forward as it goes, and I will say the seat is set for me. I'm 5'8" and I have almost no leg room here. Will I be able to sit here? Yes. Am I going to be comfortable? Probably not. The seat does not recline at all. This position is fixed in the outboard seats. Now let's put it all the way back. If you are installing a child passenger car seat, this is as far back as the seat goes. This seat is set for me. I'm 5'8". And this gives us 30 inches of space, seat back to seat back. So 29 is about the minimum for a rear-facing child passenger car seat. This gives us 30, so you do have enough room for one here and for one here. You'll actually have enough space in this middle seat if you need to install 2. If you need to install 3, this passenger is going to have to keep their seat pretty far forward to be able to accommodate a rear-facing child passenger car seat. If you do need more space for a rear passenger, there are the 2 outboard seats, the front seat, or you might even consider the 3rd row. Let's go take a look. So Volvo has shown us this car so far with the 3rd row down, giving us this huge cargo area, but I'm going to put the 3rd row up, and I've got to do a couple of things. One is I have to move this cargo cover. So it has this really lovely cargo cover that retracts and pulls into place so you can hide things in the cargo area. And they've done something that a lot of manufacturers don't do, and that is make this easy to move in and out. So it just has this little button, and you just lift it, and it pulls right out of place. I really love how easy this is. And then there is a space in here that allows it to easily stow in the rear. So until you get it home and pop it into the garage or the closet, there is a space where it fits. It's long because it needs to fit from side to side, but it does easily fit in here. So I do really appreciate that. And then from there, I'm going to open the 3rd row seat. I'm going to show you how these seats function. I'm going to measure them for child passenger car seats, and I'm going to put them down. I'm going to show you the 3rd row and measure 3rd row for leg and head space as well. The 3rd row seats have to be managed from the center. There is not a button. And you just push them into place like that. What all I have to do is pull this latch and put the seat up and pull the headrest up into place. It's really easy, although I will say it takes a little bit of muscle. So getting into the 3rd row, there are no buttons to do this there are no buttons to put the seats up or down, so you do have to do everything manually. But check this out. I love how this seat slides and tilts forward. So if you have a child passenger car seat in this seat, you can move it forward to a certain degree, not a lot, but to a certain degree to allow for 3rd row access. Now, let's see what the space looks like. There is a foothold here. Whoops. And I'm going to climb in, and I'm going to say I'm 5'8". So, and this seat is all the way back, and I have almost no leg room. I have cup holders and I have air vents, and I have windows, and I have speakers. So I have most of the basic things that I need. This is not a huge 3rd row, so I'm going to show you what it measures shoulder to shoulder. I have 22 inches. 22 inches from this seat to this seat. This seat is all the way back, and this seat doesn't move. So let's see what this one is like, because this one is in the middle position, and this one gives me about 25 inches. So I still don't have enough room really for, certainly not a rear-facing child car seat, and probably not a lot of space for a tall person, but a kid in a booster seat or a kid in a forward-facing car seat is going to be fine. There are a couple of other things. There is a nice little console between these 2 seats. There's footwell space. And then if you want to fold this seat down, even if you have the bench here and you fold this seat down, this creates a nice open feel to the cabin. I don't feel quite as hemmed in with this seat down as I do with the seat up. If you are going to put children in car seats back here, it's worth noting there are no latches. We have the upper tethers, 2 upper tethers, but there are no lower anchors in the rear seats of the Volvo XC90. To get out of the car, you just push that shoulder tab again, push the seat forward, and now I can climb out, maybe. I think I can. Ta-da! More good news about these seats is they do fold flat, and they're 40-20-40, so each seat folds individually. So those I folded, you just pull this little tab on the side, the headrest goes down, and the seat folds flat. You fold these and you fold those, and you have a totally flat cargo floor. Right now I'm going to put it on charge, meaning that the system will charge the battery back as much as possible while I'm driving. And when I have it on battery charge, I can feel the system feels a little heavier. It feels like I can feel acceleration is a little heavier, and the braking resistance is a little heavier. I can also pop it down into B mode, and I don't know if you noticed, but I did not tap the brake at all, but we just slowed significantly, and that's because I'm in B mode. And what B mode does is it gives you that brake regeneration. So as I lift my foot off the accelerator, I get brake regen, and that's also going to help recharge that battery by actually taking unused energy, say energy from braking or energy from regenerative braking, and putting it back into the battery so that I can use it later. I really do appreciate regen braking. I think it's something that honestly I wish we had in every car because it is so efficient. I really love the efficiency of regen braking. But let's see what this, now I can't really gun it too much, but I want to show you what the acceleration is in the Volvo XC90 T8. So this is the hybrid, plug-in electric hybrid. This is the one that has the most horsepower, 455 horsepower, and the most torque. So now I have it in charge, meaning the system will recharge the car as the car's battery as I'm driving. I can put it in hold, which means it will just hold the electric charge where it is, or I can put it in auto and it will use whatever power is needed. It will drive on all electric until gas is needed. So you're leaving it up to the car to make that decision. But I'm going to put it in charge. I'm also going to put it in pure. And when I tap the pure button, that's basically sport mode. So it gives me all of the horsepower, the stiffer drive feel. It gives me the feel and the performance of a sports car. But what defines the power and the experience in the Volvo XC90 T8 is the 455 horsepower and also a lot of torque. So I'm going to show you though there is a little bit of a lag. So I'm going to press the accelerator now, and there's the engine. So it does take a few seconds. If you are accelerating to merge onto the highway, it goes fast, but it's not instant. Even though it's electric, the torque is not instant the way it is in a true electric car. So what you're going to get is the benefit of all electric driving for that 33 miles. You'll get the benefit of having better fuel economy and not having to buy gas as often, which is a real benefit as well. You could probably drive about months between fill-ups if you would like, by plugging it in every single day. Another thing that's really nice is that you're able to plug it in a 110 outlet, just a standard household outlet. You'll be able to fully charge it every night. If you plug it in when you get home, you'll need about 12 hours to do that, but you should be able to fully charge it every day but at home without installing any extra equipment, which is also a really nice benefit to driving a plug-in electric hybrid. Volvo's reputation for building safe but luxurious and elegant cars remains intact. I do love some of the changes that Volvo has made for the 2025 model year. I also really love the new sustainable materials. The Nordico leatherette is really elegant and it feels good. We rode around on that all morning and that feels great. I do love the polyester woven interior. It's beautiful. If you really like cloth seating, this is an elegant way to do it. But you can also get Napa leather. I love that Volvo is giving you that choice. Everything that Volvo has done in the XC90 for 2025 makes it everything that we love about the Volvo XC90 and then a little more.